Okay, guys, I think it's time to accept the fact that Kathy is MAGA. For all legal purposes, that was a joke. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to One on One with Ryan Rhodes. Today, for this episode, we are going to be talking about the WNBA again. I know the season is long gone and over, but I still have some things to say. So, who wants to hear my hot takes? Let's get started. Okay, hot take number one, let's talk about marketing. Marketing in this league is disgustingly horrible. And this is such a broad topic, so I'm talking about how the WNBA markets their players specifically. They don't know how to do that. I know this isn't a hot take or an unpopular opinion. It's actually very popular amongst W fans. But the reason why I wanted to have this specific hot take is because recently I saw a clip from Mariah Rose's channel. It's called Hoops for Hotties. She was interviewing Natasha Cloud, and in that interview, T Cloud talks about how she's been kept off of off-season marketing because she doesn't fit the specific narrative or stereotype that the W has.
I've been kept off of off-season marketing because I don't fit where our league wants us to be from an activism standpoint, and that's out of Kathy's mouth as well. So, these are things that I'm not going to publicly say, 2-3 years ago because I want to protect our league. But now, in hindsight, it's no, maybe we should have been talking about who really is running our league years ago.
For those who aren't familiar, T Cloud is a guard for the New York Liberty, and in addition to being a great basketball fan, she is also very outspoken, okay? She is activist first, basketball player second. You search her up on any platform, specifically Twitter, and you will see her talking about just a myriad of things. She's talked about the genocide happening in Palestine, Black Lives Matter, LGBT community, just a lot. But outside of that, she has not said or done anything to put the W in a negative light. So context clues, we can all guess what type of narrative she doesn't fit. Does this surprise me? No. The W has never been able to market the players the correct way. I don't think in the history of the league they've ever hit the nail on the head. Back when the league first started, I wasn't born, but I've seen documentaries, and the most recent one I watched was Diana Taurasi's. And in the documentary, there's a part that kind of talks about what she had to do to grow the league when she first got drafted. And it depicts how a lot of these women had to have this cookie cutter girl next door type in order to attract the male viewer. To a certain extent, I get that marketing technique because the WNBA was created to be comparable to the NBA except for women. So I get them trying to gain popularity from the NBA's fan base that way. But now you have social media, you have access to these players that you didn't have before. You have all these players who are out and very obviously not interested in men any type of way. So the W has no excuse, but they still can't get it right. To me, I feel like W fans are the easiest fans to please because a lot of them do look for personality before they even attempt to look at basketball skills. You ask a W fan, some of them, you ask them why they like this player, why they're their favorite player, and they will list so many things and literally have one line about basketball.
Is your sister hot?
She's got a great personality.
Ew.
So personality is really a driving force in engagement and the way that fans look at the W. But instead of using that knowledge in social media to their advantage, the W decides to use rivalries and racism to grow the game. A good example of this is from Miss Kathy herself, because I remember when the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry first blew up and was in our faces 24/7, Kathy did an interview about the racism specifically in the league regarding or surrounding this rivalry. And so what Kathy does in a very Kathy-like fashion is talk around the question, say a whole bunch of nothing, and then say something along the lines of rivalries are good for ratings, they're good for the games.
Excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal cruelty.
Deservingly so, she got called out because she practically shrugged off and ignored a very real, present, and important topic of conversation we needed to discuss. Unfortunately, I do get her though, because rivalries are good for the game. They make the games entertaining, more important, more interesting, and more impactful to the average fan. That is all 100% true when it's organic, but nobody on this earth will convince me that the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry is in any way, shape, or form a real thing. It was very obviously a media strategy, and I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist when I say this, but hear me out. Caitlin and Angel were the two biggest names in women's college hoops, and they were very obviously going to the league. There was no question about that. Caitlin has a certain type of fan base, and so the W and the media worked together to try to recreate the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson rivalry, but for women's basketball. Y'all are gonna jump me for saying this, but I'm 100% right, okay? Because look at how this rivalry came about. Taunting is the most basic, common thing an athlete can do. It's like a rite of passage at this point. There is not an athlete that will tell you they have never taunted another player. Trash talking, hand gestures, doing anything you can to get your opponent off their game or distract them so that they miss a shot, miss a goal, strike out. This is across every sport ever. It's just so normal in sports. But now you're going to tell me that this is the poster child for unsportsmanlike conduct? That gesture all of a sudden started the biggest rivalry in women's basketball right now? Let's not be delusional. And once that blew up, they furthered it even more by dissecting every single little interaction that those two had on the court and blowing it up to this huge news story in sports. Talking on the court, a foul that I guarantee you has happened on any professional court ever created, now becomes this news story where there's thousands of articles coming out. And what really irks me about the rivalry is not the fact that it's fake, but the fact that it was just dripping in microaggressions. Caitlin was painted as this victim, defenseless damsel in distress that needed to be protected from the big bad wolf. And Angel got the Tiger Woods treatment. When Tiger Woods cheated on his wife and the media talked about him like he killed that woman, that is the same way they talked about Angel. It was crazy. Now, this rivalry, fake or not, did bring an enormous amount of popularity to the W. I'm not going to deny that. There was just so many eyes on the WNBA at that time. But instead of using that as an introduction to the W and then using that momentum to branch out to all the other players and talent that you have in the league, the W put themselves in a box and made that rivalry their whole entire storyline. And it worked for that first year when they were rookies. But then they tried to do it again this year, and it bit them in the ass because Caitlin went down mid-July. Then Angel was out for weeks at a time with a back injury. They were scheduled the most games against each other, didn't really play each other that much, and almost never interacted. So now guess what? Nobody cares. Huge misstep on their part, but I guess we'll just add it to the long list of things that the W has not been able to get right. Moving on to hot take number 2, which kind of connects to the last part of hot take number 1. You guys, it is okay to like both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. I promise you, it's okay. And I hate that this has to be a hot take because I genuinely like both of those players. And it sucks because it's not Caitlin's fault that she has a certain type of fan base. It's sad to see because Caitlin Clark's fans who claim to love her so much are bringing an enormous amount of hate to her because of the way that they act. And then on Angel Reese's side, it's sad that people don't want to let go of a hand gesture from 3 years ago. The hate that Angel gets is so odd to me because that girl genuinely does nothing to deserve the type of negative attention that she does. She doesn't do anything to deserve that. And in my opinion, I feel like she is revolutionizing what a WNBA player can do or be. Like, being invited to spaces that W players weren't invited before. Being able to say that you've been a part of a movie with a renowned actor like Idris Elba is amazing. Becoming the first W player to walk in a Victoria's Secret fashion show is amazing. She has celebrities and supermodels in her TikToks. And honestly, if she continues going the way that she's going, she can bring those people's fans to the W. Their rivalry, as fake yet entertaining as it was, is so stupid to me because it's not a normal rivalry. It's a rivalry that is bred in racism and created in racism. I think that they're both on their way to becoming superstars on and off the court. Yes, both of them. I'm including Angel in this. I don't care what anybody says. They are both on their way to becoming the biggest superstars in women's basketball. And I love that for them. I don't have anything against rivalries either. I think that if we really wanted to have rivalries involving Caitlyn and Angel, you could do like Caitlyn and Paige. That would be a good rivalry. Or Aaliyah Boston and Angel. That would be a good rivalry. That's the type of rivalry I would like to see personally. But I don't think the W is going to let that happen. So we're going to move on to hot take number 3. Okay, hot take number 3. I am not a fan of men talking about this sport. Like, I hate it, actually.
You're a man. You're a man.
If the shoe doesn't fit, don't wear it, because I'm not talking about the men that are actual real basketball fans and just watch the game to enjoy it. I'm talking about men that come over to this side to talk down on women, compare them to the NBA, be corny, be a troll, or just sexualize the women that are playing the game. They don't watch games, they don't know players, yet still feel confident enough to comment on something they literally know nothing about. They watch a 10-second lowlight of a player missing a basket and automatically think that they know everything there is to know about that player without even watching 1 second of a real game. And the way that men freaked out when the whole CBA negotiation thing dropped. Like, these players said, hey, we're working hard, we're busting our ass, and now we want a raise, now we want some compensation. And men in the comments were genuinely tweaking out, like literally foaming at the mouth, just calling these players all types of names under the sun, saying they don't deserve a raise, in fact, pay them less. Like, it was crazy. And then on the other side, you have men who got their finance degree from twitter.com acting like they know how the business side of the league works. Why is it that big of a deal that they want to be paid more? What is it to you? Like, this money is not coming out of your account personally. Your $20 is safe, I promise you. Mind you, most of them have never picked up a basketball, don't know how the game is played. But, you know, if it's one thing men have, it's the audacity. You don't like the WNBA? Cool. Don't watch it. Nobody is forcing you to watch it or to like it. You like the NBA better? Cool. Go watch the NBA. This is turning into an I hate men rant, and I don't want to do that. So we're going to go ahead and move on to my last and final hot take. Hot take number 4. I don't believe that certain creators should have their platform anymore. Like, I'm sorry. I can't. I'm not going to name names, but I feel like people are going to get who I'm talking about by the way that I describe her. But when this creator got fired from the big 3, I think it was, and her content switched to 90% WNBA, her content became so unwatchable to me because it was like Caitlin Clark fan fiction, Indiana Fever smut fan fiction, pandering to their racist fan base, and it was a huge turnoff.
Yeah.
The way that this content creator talks, like, you would think she was in love with Caitlin Clark. All of her videos, I guarantee you, if they're not about Caitlin Clark, she mentions Caitlin Clark at least once in them. What really pisses me off about this creator is you have a huge platform. You have the luxury to be invited to all these spaces, know these players, and interview these players. You claim to care about the W, which we all know is a 90% Black-dominated league. And yet you still make the conscious choice to invite a racist bigot onto your platform. That is so crazy to me. And you're sitting there smiling while the only thing he does is just reaffirm how you feel about Caitlin Clark. Like, I genuinely think the only reason why you invited this man onto your platform is because you guys both share something in common. The fact that you are in love with Caitlin Clark. And there's nothing wrong with being a fan of a player. But at this point, just change your account into a Caitlyn fan page. The cherry on top, though, was when she tweeted something along the lines of, if the Las Vegas Aces and the Phoenix Mercury make it to the finals, we're going to be looking at an altercation every single game. And people got on her ass for that. Half the people in the comments were like, what do you mean by that? And then the other half was like, oh, this is a dog whistle, this is a dog whistle, red flag, exposing her for the type of content that she creates. And honestly, at that point, I was like, yeah, you know what? You're done. I unfollowed her. I unsubscribed. I blocked her off of my content. I didn't want to see it anymore. And I know I sound like one of those Karens who are like, oh, you just lost a customer. Like, nobody cares. But I care because now I don't have to see her content anymore. So good for me. Anyways, that's all for today. I did have more hot takes, but I'll probably share them at a later time in a different video. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate all the support that I've gotten so far. Please go ahead and like and subscribe for more. If you like any of my hot takes or you have a hot take yourself that you would like to share, don't be afraid to comment, and I will see you guys next episode.